Yeah, is it there? Cool, yeah, I'll change that one.
It's in the bed, right?
All right. All right, everyone. How's it going? Great to have you guys here. If you will, it's customary here to share and like the live. Thank you so much. Because for those of you who are new, we want to get those 10,000 likes in 10 minutes. That's what the algorithm requires here. So please share and like the live, and don't be bashful. Do so multiple times, because you're going to get a lot of this subject tonight. And if all that's required is for you to like the live, it's not much to ask at all. So please share and like the live. There are 4 of you here and not one person thinks it's worth sharing and liking the live. Go ahead, share and like the live, because nothing starts until we get up to 10,000 likes in 10 minutes. Nothing starts. I guess I'm wasting my breath here. Are you guys not hearing me? Please share and like the live so we can get started. Because there's 9 of you here and nobody. There are no likes here. I think the TikTok like visionary is broken. Because I know there are some people here that normally do that. Oh, it's starting. Okay. Thank you, the 1 or 2 that have started doing that. Because I know ain't everybody doing it. So let's share and like the live. Thank you, Divine Violet, for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jackie. It's good to see you. Love and peace. Great to see you here. I'm Rising. Great to see you guys back. And I know you guys are sharing and liking. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So while we're on our way to that, to that 10,000 likes in 10 minutes, I'm frozen. I will leave. Okay. All right. Yeah, just come back. Maybe that'll take care of it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. You're back. Are you still frozen? Hey, BMW 63. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. We're at 1K. So tonight, last night, as some of you were here. Okay, you're good now, Divine? Okay, fantastic. As some of you were here, we were talking about the different parts of the body and what they represent, We went through what the feet represented: mobility, movement, way forward. And we went through what that meant. If you have, if you have issues moving forward in life, taking action on things, right? And you have problems with your feet, how they could be associated. And I explained why all these things are not hindrances, are not holding you back, are not making your life miserable. It's the approach that brings the attitude, not the actual situation. And I talked about how if this is something like, say you have something going on with your feet, but a lot of things in life go by without you acting on them, how they're associated. How they're associated and what to do about them. And so this is important to know, because the more you know about yourself, the better off you are in life. And we get so many messages in life through this, because thank you, Aline. Thank you so much. As you know, I always say this has all the answers in it. You have all the answers within you. And if you've been following me long enough, I've been showing you why that's true. Every single live, every single course that I make, every single class that I teach, every single thing that I do that's outwardly reaching is based on what is going on within you. And I often refer to us as being books. A book that has been constantly being written every second of the day from the time we existed, well before this life and many, many other lives. That book is still being written. The book of you. And so we have lost many, many, many of the abilities and much of the communication between us and the self. But fortunately, we're getting back to doing that. We're getting back to doing that. And tonight, we are going to break it down a little further and go through different parts of the body, what they signify, and why it even exists in the first place. Because you must shift your gaze, or I should say, include within your gaze other than what is physical. Thank you guys for sharing and liking the live. Those of you who are doing it, I want to thank you especially. And so it's important to know these things, because the more aware you are, thank you, Meditations, thank you so much. The more aware you are, the better off you are going to be in control of this life. The least aware you are, the better something and someone else is going to be in control of your life. Oh, somebody's going to be in control. Is it you? I say it should always be you. But if you're not aware, you won't even be aware that someone else is in control, you see, and that's a problem. We don't want that. We don't want that, right? So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. I would also like to say that tomorrow the live will be inside of the community. The live will be inside of the community, myspiritualtribe.com. Hey, Wisdom. myspiritualtribe.com at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So those of you who are on the Central Time, it's going to be 6. And we might even make it 5. But I don't want to do that until I make it officially for everybody to know. Because that, for everybody to know. We might adjust it if it's better, because I think it's better for people. But tomorrow is 4 o'clock, which means it's 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So it's better time for you folks. And we'll be making adjustments along the way, depending on what's most effective. We'll be making adjustments all on the way as far as lives and events and all of that goes. And we will be changing and moving until we find a sweet spot. A sweet spot. That's a balance. That's a balance for us and a balance for you as well. And that's what we're doing. All right. So if you want to be a part of tomorrow's live, just join myspiritualtribe.com or go to the bio right here. And we'll see you there at 4 p.m. Pacific time in the community, where the live is just the same as here, except that you don't have people going in and out, so the energy is steady. Right? The energy is steady. And we just don't have anybody just popping in and out whenever they want, like say, because this is a public forum. And the reason why we're doing that, of course, yay, we're at 10,000 likes, is so that we can have our own stuff. Because too many times, this is not my platform, it's not yours, somebody else's. If they decide they don't like what they hear or whatever, they can chop and change, and we have to go along with it whether we like it or not, if we want to be on it. So we're no longer going to allow ourselves to be in that particular arena. And unless, I'm telling you, everyone here, unless you own your stuff, other people will be chopping and changing. And some of us who've been here from the beginning of this country's history know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You have to own your own stuff, or you will not own your destiny. And these times aren't teaching us that. I don't know what is. All right. So tonight we're going to start, right? Speaking about the different parts of the body. I extended this. I'll be going through different parts tonight, what they represent, what they represent. Now, why is this important? Because, first of all, we are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual beings. And so in our reality, everything about it is focused. The reality, I'm not saying you, is focused on just the physical and completely ignores the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Oh, they touch on the emotions and the mental a little bit to make you think they are serious, but they're not. Because if you go to anywhere for something mental, guess what? They're going to give you a little pill. Doesn't fix anything. Emotional, same thing. Doesn't fix anything. Spiritual, they got something for, the places. For steeple people, they have that. And they call that spiritual. Nothing spiritual about that. So the only thing they spend time on is that side. And then because if we focus too much on what we're being guided to see, this is why you have to be in control, then you ignore the other parts of who you are. Meanwhile, the messages go over the head, over the head. And so when you know what these, let's say that the elbow, right? The elbow represents giving and receiving. It's a part of it, right? And when you know it represents adaptability and the ability to roll with the changes, roll with the punches. And if you have an issue with change and you just like things to stay exactly the way they are, but then you also have issues with your elbow, you better believe they're related. Right? They're related. It's your body reminding you that you are not flexible enough. You have a hard time adapting to change. That will upset the apple cart, because when the time comes that you have to change, you don't do it very well. So you come here, right, onto this planet so that you can shift that. And these little aches and pains that are constantly on us, whether it's knee, elbow, hand, neck, they're just reminders. They're like little post-it notes that say, hey, remember, you came here in this life to take care of this. And this post-it note on the neck is to remind you about that. That little ache you've got on your elbow, and you might say, well, I got that because I play tennis. I got tennis elbow. No, that's all a part of it. It still doesn't change the fact that it's a reminder. So that you deal and you become more flexible. So that when you go back to the spiritual realm, it's not a hindrance for your spirit. But you leave those notes everywhere. This is why awareness of who you are at every level is so important. All you need to know is yourself, and you will know everything else. All you need to know is yourself, and in turn, you will know everything else. So let's get to the start of it today, and we're going to start with the spine. I'm going to start with the spine, you guys. Thank you for being here. Share and like the live. Please, thank you so much. How many people have issues with their spine? Issues with their spine. Let's see. Okay, spine. Okay, spine. So, BMW 63, Tendo Posse, Amaya. Okay. All right, let's talk about that. And this is important. If you know you have issues with your spine, why is this important? Because now you can go, okay, I have spinal issues. You deal with the physical. Because I'm not saying ignore the physical. I'm saying include everything else. Take care of the spine. Go to the chiropractor. Do whatever you need to do. But then also look over to the emotional side. Look over to the mental side. Right? Those are the only two you have to worry about. Spirit is fine. Spirit ain't got your spirit don't got no spine issues. But the body might. And the body might carry that to remind you, hey, remember, you came here to help deal with this, to strengthen a certain part of who you are. And the only way we can remind you is this way, right? Dude, my lower back was injured a few years ago. Yeah. Even the injury, all of that is a part of the message to get you to move on that issue, right? So here's what it means. Thank you so much, Roselaw. Thank you so much again for that. The spine, symbolism. So we're going to go through symbolism, spiritual meaning, the message, and the healing, right? As much as you can on the live, because you really can't go deep, but at least you can leave here knowing something about it. Thank you, Roselaw, for sharing and liking the live. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. You always show appreciation when you come in here, and it's not forgotten or missed. Trust me. The spine represents your inner strength, support system, and life force energy. Inner strength, support system, and life force energy. The spine is the first thing that is formed when you are in the womb. And then everything comes off of that. Have you guys ever heard of the tree of life? And most of the time it shows the tree, and different traditions have different kinds of trees that are the trees of life. And those are all legit, by the way. But you know what the true tree of life is? Your spine. I want you to look at a spine and look at the base of it and then look at the top of it. If your spine is not healthy, everything goes downhill. Because your spine feeds every organ. They're all linked up to it. On medical and in chiropractics, every single part of the spine, vertebrae, right? Each of them have an organ that they support. If the spine is unhealthy, those organs don't get supported. I don't care what kind of nutrition you do, all that. That's why spine health is important. I go to a chiropractor. The exercise that helps the spine the most is yoga. Yoga, the exercises of yoga are primarily, every single one of them are primarily to lengthen the spine. Physically, yoga exists. It has many more. Yoga just doesn't mean postures and exercises, by the way. So I'm only talking about thank you so much for that. I'm only talking about the physical thing that it does. Physically, it is to lengthen your spine. That entire thing. You got all them asanas. Asanas are the yoga positions. All of them. And you know what they will do? In many different ways, lengthen the spine. Spine is very important. Again, it represents inner strength, support system, and life force energy. Life force energy. Good to see you here, JC. Good to see you. Stretching helps. Yes, it does. Stretching the spine, it is. And if you look in the animal kingdom, what do you see? If you've got a cat and a dog, what are they doing every morning? What are they doing when they wake up? They stretch their spine. You can see it. They stretch out their spine. And they stretch out the leg. All of that is for the spine. Right? It is the central channel for energy flow, connecting the physical and spiritual realms. It is a channel for energy flow, connecting the spiritual and physical realm. It is the physical part of the body helps to do that. There's an organ system that does that, the endocrine system, and then the spine physically also does that. Right? I won't get into it because you can break the spine down into different things, but that's what we do in the community. Downward stretch, yeah. That downward dog is absolutely great for the spine. And then the neck acts as a cantilever to really give it a little extra. Good point. Again, the metaphysical meaning or spiritual meaning is it is the channel for energy to flow, connecting the physical and the spiritual realms. Now, spine issues, pain or stiffness, may indicate a lack of support or feeling that you're not supported, feeling overwhelmed, or a disconnect between your physical and spiritual self. That's what it represents. That's what spinal issues represent. Right? And so it's the big thing here is connection. Connection with spinal issues, right? So the message is, are you standing tall in your truth? Are you feeling unsupported or burdened by life's challenges? And you could very well be supported, but if you don't feel supported, the important part is feel. If you don't feel supported, we are represented by spinal issues. And so you must, the thing that you want to do is you must get to the point where you can feel supported, because your ancestors are there. They have never left your supports. They have never left as a part of your support system and your higher self. Now, people may come and go, but that would also be indicative that maybe the focus is too much on how much support you're getting from the physical. And there's not a balance of, yes, there's support in the physical, there's support in the spiritual, right? It might be that you don't recognize or accept or know about the support you have from your spiritual team that came down here with you. So that spinal issue might be indicating, hey, you're paying attention to this over here, but you are not paying attention to the support you over here. That's why you don't feel as supported as you are, right? So this is, again, getting you to extend your focus and the lens of what you see and observe to more than just the physical. More than just the physical. Right? And so what you want to do is come up with anything, the system that gets you to feel supported. And you can do so through asking yourself questions, but you will feel that support if you do this one thing that I always say. And I will say it till the day I die, because it cannot be said too much. It's about the connection you have to self. Self is your ancestors and your higher self, and the connection to your inner child, which is indeed you, the self physically here. With those connections all in place and healthy, the lack of support, that feeling and that emotion, because it's not real, it's not true, will disappear. Because why? You'll be aware of all of your support. And that awareness will eliminate any issues having to do with these particular problems, which often are related to not knowing. Not knowing. So the spine, very important. Number two is the knees. The knees represent, I did say this for the spine. The spine represents foundation and support. Foundation and support. I don't remember if I said that. So I'll jump back to that before I go to number two. Number two, the knees. Humility and flexibility. Humility and flexibility. That's what they represent. The knees symbolize humility, flexibility, and ability to bend and adapt to life's changes. Notice how a lot of these have to do with adaptability to change. Because there's one thing that is certain, and that is change. Change is happening every second of existence. How many people have knee issues? Right here, knee issues. If you have knee issues, I fell on my left knee in 2018, and it has some pain now. Okay, so Line Phyla, BMW 63, Alien Boy. All right, Miss K. Anyone else? Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. 37 of you here. Let's get some cooperation. Nina. Fantastic. All right. And Sunny. And Taharia. Sometimes I notice knee pain, but nothing serious. Okay. And how serious, it's good that you mentioned that too. I have knee pain. Okay. How serious it is also indicative of how much is going on in the mental and emotional realm of things too. So someone that has serious knee issues, it requires more to be done in those areas of their life, the emotional and mental side. Let's say someone who's had a slight problem. It's no different than, oh, I got a scratch, let me get a Band-Aid. As opposed to, oh, I got a gash, let me get to the hospital, have stuff put on it and all of that. Same thing. You were running a lot. Okay, yeah, that'll often be. And I want you to know that the physical reason for it is simply yet another indicator of the spiritual side of it existing. Because as I said, they're just like little post-it notes telling you of what's going on. Because otherwise you wouldn't know. How would you know what to address emotionally and mentally? You wouldn't. So they appear. So maybe the thing that triggers it into your reality is running. Maybe it's bumping your elbow. Maybe, oh, you play tennis. Always look beyond the physical reason. Don't get trapped by the reason that it happened. No matter what, you always look at the energetic side of it, the spiritual side of it. Because you never know. You might go, oh, you know what? How am I going to find out about this? Oh, yeah, I'm going to put it in the knee. How am I going to get the knee? I'm going to You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a runner. And when I run, that's how I'm going to trigger it. So I'll know what to do. You see, you have to think broader. We have to broaden our awareness when we become spiritual. We just aren't stuck in the physical realm, you know, the muggle realm. When you decide to spiritual awaken, you decide to leave the realm of the muggles. The Harry Potter reference for some of you out there. Heal my knee. Okay. Knees symbolize humility, flexibility, and ability to bend, adapt to life's changes, as I've just said. Lots of these issues involve being able to adapt and adjust. Knee pain often reflects resistance to change, stubbornness, or pride. It can also indicate fear of moving forward or surrendering control, no matter how small. Now, if none of this applies to you, then don't take it on. But please, don't automatically assume it doesn't apply to you, because a lot of times these things apply, but what you've got going on is subtle. It's not in your face. So what you do is you go, please show me. I don't feel this resonates or it's for me, but I'm asking my ancestors and the divine to show me if this is true. And then you forget about it. Because if it's true, the answer will come around sooner or later. If it doesn't come around, you just leave it alone. It doesn't fly. You see? So you always do that catch-all kind of a thing. Just in case you are not noticing. You ask yourself. You ask the divine within you. If you're not sure. And even if you feel that you are, you do it. It's a fail-safe. So you don't get in your own way. Oh, I know I can be stubborn, working on letting go as well. So see, Miss K knows this about herself. And that's 50% right there, probably even more. Because when you know, it means, and know and accept, then the answers can come very quickly. And she will recognize the answers when they come. You know why? Because they're not the veil of resistance covering her eyes. And then when the solutions come, or someone comes along to point to what needs to happen, she's going to see it, because she isn't carrying a whole lot of resistance through denial. That's the biggest one, or lack of acceptance. So very important. Very important. And the message is, are you being too rigid or too prideful? Are you resisting an unnecessary change or transition? Are you resisting an unnecessary change or transition? And I'm not an affirmations person, but I have an affirmation in my notes, because many of the things I learned came with affirmations. But I'm not an affirmations person. But this one I will say because it's really helpful. And this affirmation says, I flow with life's changes and embrace humility and flexibility. I flow with life changes and embrace humility and flexibility. Now, if you don't, and you know you don't, and you say that affirmation, it is no good. Because your subconscious mind will go, no, you don't. Just the other day, you knew you weren't. And it will 100% reject it. That's why I don't go around just blindly telling people to do affirmations. Because they won't work if they're not true to the person who's saying them. Okay, so that's it for the knees, right? The knees. Number 3. Number 1 was, of course, the spine. Number 2 was the knees. And now number 3, the ankles. The ankles. They represent stability and movement. The ankles represent stability and movement. Ankles represent Stability, balance, and the ability to move forward in life. You see? So if you've had something in a past incarnation or in the past where you had inabilities to move forward, when you gave up that body and that life, you came back off of the stage and you said, oh yeah, this life, I have a lot of issue moving forward. Okay, that kind of stopped me from doing a few things. This is you back as the eternal spark that you are. You're doing this. So I'm going to do that to take care of that. And where is that represented? Oh, the ankles. So I'm going to make a note to myself, note to self. I'm going to put it on the ankles so that I remember to deal with this when I go back into the next incarnation, the next physical body. Right? So can you see by that explanation that there isn't anything such thing as a past life? It's just one continuous life with little pit stops. Right? Because that's how your spirit experiences, through those little pit stops we call life in a body. Hello, I have a broken ankle. All right, so great. Queen J, just listen to what I'm saying and then take action on it, because that's where your power lies. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. So just look in your life for stability, balance, and the ability to move forward. Any issues with those? Any fear of moving forward, lack of stability, or resistance to change. Now, the message is, are you feeling ungrounded? Or unsure about your next steps? Are you resisting progress? Are you resisting progress? One of the things to help with that is to create a vision board of the progress that you're supposed to make. Like, you would know that. You would know, oh, I've been meaning to do this for a long time, and I haven't done it. Why? You'll come up with reasons, because the mind will, whatever it is, here's the thing. The mind will give you a reason, because it's like your assistant. If you don't want to do something, all of a sudden it runs to the back and finds all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. Yeah, you shouldn't do it, boss, because, the minute you say, no, I want to do it, and you really mean it, the mind goes back and goes, oh, yeah, this is the reason why you should do it, boss. You want me to help you? That's how your mind works. It listens to you. And it listens to what you focus on. So when you come up with a reason, just know that that reason is something you made up. It's fluid and can be changed. It isn't concrete. It isn't the way it is, or all the other terms we tend to use to make ourselves feel good about decisions that we make. Right? So one of the ways to move forward is to always put in front of you that thing that you want to do that means progress for you. And then you look at it every day. Thank you, Divine Violet. You look at it every day when you wake up in the morning, not a lot of stuff on your mind. And the idea is, thank you so much for that. The idea is you're going to do that so that you can start changing the mind, so that you can start moving forward. And then everything that's keeping you from moving forward, thank you so much, Divine Violet. Thank you so much. Anything that's standing in the way of you moving forward, the mind will go, hey, boss, this is one of the things right here. Thank you for helping us get to 50%. Thank you so much. And thank all the rest of you who have gifted. Your appreciation is well noted. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. So your mind will start bringing all those things. So you don't have to go, oh, what is it that's holding me back? Oh, it'll be brought to your attention if you really want to move forward. Right? And it'll be brought and you'll go, oh, this thing. Oh, wow, I didn't. It'll come in all kinds of ways. Oh, this thing, when my mother told me that I was not capable of doing anything. Oh, and I believe it till this day, and I'm 40 years old. And now the mind brings that to you, and you go, okay, is that true? If you ask your mind, your mind will go, whatever you want, boss. If it's true, you let me know, and I'll keep it true. If it's not, we'll change it. Yeah, that's how your mind works. It's a whatever you want, boss kind of a thing. That's how your mind works. Whatever you want, boss, is what it'll say. And it'll give you what you want, whether you like that thing or not, because what you want is what you focus on. Same thing. And that means if you focus on shit that you don't like, that's what'll keep coming. Because it'll give you what you focus on. And as far as it knows, whatever you focus on is what you want. That's how we have things in our lives that make us miserable, because we focus on them. You ever meet those people, especially in our community, go, I'm not coming back to earth again. How many of you are, because this is important for you to know, how many of you say that? And by the way, it's not a judgment. There's plenty of good reasons to say why you would never want to come back here. Right? There's plenty of good reasons. How many of you are in that boat? How many of you are in the I'm not coming back here? I'm dropping unnecessary weight and being vegan for 64 days. It's helping. So less pain in the knee. Fantastic. Fantastic. You're giving the physical thing. I'm too prideful. So see, Ohm's law says I'm too prideful. So that's acceptance. That's knowing. It's the people that have it and don't accept that they have it, that's where change can never come. Positive change, what I mean. Let's see, let me go through here to find out. Me, okay, I was. Okay. I said, okay, fantastic. Thank you guys for letting me know. It just helps to know so that we can, because if I know a few of you are at a place, I'll spend a little more time on it. That's what the life is for, right? I'll spend a little more time on it. Yeah, so when you create something, let's say a vision board, the mind sees that you've taken the effort to do that. The mind sees that you're not taking an effort to look at it every day, and you're focusing on the things that you want. This is the beauty of a vision board, because it makes you focus on the things that you want. And then if you add some emotion to it, the same emotions that you added and that you have when you pray, or for those who don't pray anymore, when you used to pray. And things happen. Things will happen. This is how you move forward. Right? And this is how you kind of answer that post-it note and start working on yourself. Right? Because even like, I think the Divine Father said, I'm dropping the weight, I went vegan, boom, she's addressing that. And now, if she opens her awareness to other reasons that could potentially be there other than, the physical one, then the mind will go, oh, you want to know about that too? And things involving stability, balance, and the ability to move forward would start coming. So what I would add to that, for those of you with the ankle issues, even knee issues, because they're very similar, is look in your life and see the times where you've had trouble moving forward. And then go, oh, wow. The minute you know that, then the purpose of having that knee issue is been addressed. And then you start working on that. And then the issue will start going. Or, like me, I tore my knee ligaments playing football. That's, physically, that's not gonna. But I can tell you what, since I'm moving forward, I used to get, let me tell you what I mean, because this is one I should give my experience on. When I was in my 30s, I'm in my 50s. My 30s, I tore my knee ligaments when I was 17 years old playing football. And then when I turned around in my 30s, I used to get arthritis in the knee. As a matter of fact, I go have it checked out, and they go, "Oh, you got a completely arthritic knee. Wow, blah blah blah." And I go, "Yeah, but I don't really have arthritis. I don't feel arthritis. When I was in my 30s, I used to know when the seasons are changing because my knee would tell me. I don't really have that anymore. I can't run down the block and get away with it. If I do that, I'm going to feel it because I have no cartilage. It's all bone to bone in my left knee. So I will feel it. But if I'm just doing normal things like I'm supposed to, not doing crazy stuff with my knees, I don't feel any arthritis, at all. So the issues that you used to have with that will then the post-it note will change to a green checkpoint. Now, if you have something like a busted knee or a ligament, you're not going to go run marathons. But who needs to, right? Who needs to? All right. So that's the ankles. Just want to say to you guys, sign up for the newsletter. Right? If you subscribe to me on TikTok, you should also sign up for the newsletter. And you can do that, link in bio here. Right? Link in bio there. That's the minimum stuff. In case something happens here to this app, or it turns into something that we don't like anymore, we've got an alternative. We've got an alternative, myspiritualtribe.com, right? Where you can meet like-minded people who are on the path like you are, because that's so important. The 5 people, this is in psychology, in personal development, spiritual development, this is something every single mentor will tell you. The 5 people in your life, will often determine where you are, because you're all going to be about the same, right? So you want to upgrade and you want to make changes. If you introduce yourself to people who are where you want to be, that's the best way to get there. That's the best way to get there. Because they will bring you to where you want to be. You'll have to do the effort. It's all you. But if you see the examples of what it is that you need to do to be where you want to be, what you want to become, then it's a much easier if you can see somebody doing it than to try to figure it out yourself. So in this community, there are people like you, and we're all on different levels, who will accept you as you are, as your authentic self. Because that's what being spiritual awakened is about. So in that community, myspiritualtribe.com, is the URL, but My Spiritual Tribe, which you can get to right by the bio there, is where you can meet people who are on the path like you are, and people who want to grow like you. And if you need a shoulder to lean on, you've got a peer group to do it with. So I'll share some more information on that. But let's get to the next thing, hey? Let's get to the next thing. The next thing is kidneys. This is one of my favorite organs. It's not like I don't like my lungs. You know what I mean? The kidneys. Kidneys are associated, fear and cleansing is what they are about. Fear and cleansing. Fear and cleansing. So, kidneys are associated with fear, emotional processing, and cleansing of toxins. Physical and emotional toxins. And you know who has introduced emotional toxins into our lexicon, into our language? It's the spiritual community. When I was a kid, nobody ever talked about emotional toxins. That's a recent term because it exists and is so prevalent that we came up with a name for it. Things that exist and that are around, we tend to come up with a name for it. We tend to come up with a name for it. Are legs a separate part too? Yeah, you can do the legs themselves do represent something. Yeah. A like spirit. That's right. A like spirits. Even our higher self, speaking of that, has its peer groups. It's called the oversoul. The oversoul is all the groups of human spirits, because that's what we are, who want to do the same thing, who want to accomplish the same thing. So they get together and they create a soul group whose mission is whatever it is that soul group's supposed to do. And they work together because that's the best way to get where you want to go. Of course, there are other things you have to do. You just can't look at other people, copy them, and it's no, because you have to go there and be your own you. But when you're talking about a formula for support, a formula for accountability, and a group that are going to be exchanging, giving and taking, helping each other. And in that peer group, the reason why it's a peer group is because there isn't people, one or two people in there just getting and taking, while not giving anything. They're all sharing and giving, taking and giving between each other. Right? Because if someone tries to become a part of that peer group and they're not balanced in that way within the group, they're going to fall right off. The group is not going to put up with that. Because part of it is there's a sharing and a giving. If someone is where you want to be, then they get the joy and the experience of mentoring and bringing someone where they are. Now they have excelled and exceeded in many ways. That might be one of their life goals, to help people. So when you fall into the category of where they were 5 years before, then they get to give and they get to also receive, and they bring you up to their level. And then you can both go up to the next level together, and so on and so forth. I've never been afraid of chopping and changing my peer group. No. And neither should you. It's not that you're not throwing people away when they become useless. This is not like the corporate thing. You're not doing that. You're just going, you're still friends with them, but you move on to the next thing that you need to do. And if they want to come, they do. If they don't, you get on that phone, talk, say hi, share together every once in a while. It's not about that kind of cutting off kind of a thing. It's about, I need to get here, and how do I do it? I'm going to do it. Because they might see that and go, oh, wow, that's such a wonderful thing. I want to be there. And you go, well, you want to do it? I'll help you. I'll show you. Let's do it together. Boom. Yeah? And that's the ideal thing. Because maybe something was holding them back. And then when they see you be able to do it, and they say, hey, can you help me? You help each other. Bang. And you're there. And it's okay being friends and doing all of that, unless they become jealous and try to tear you down. Then you got to kick them off the boat. Because we're here to experience and evolve. And those who don't want to do that, it's okay. Just don't stand in my way, right? Just don't stand in my way of doing that. Because I'm here for my own experiences, my own evolution. And I would love to have friends go along with me for that. And whatever you're here for, there's a peer group for that. And then you just move right on. Sometimes it's hard because you like the person, but you got to do what you're here to do. Because what's going to be hard, you leave here and you let the people pleasing, whatever it is, or keep you down. Get away from those people who try to keep you down. Okay, so the symbolism of the kidneys is associated with fear, emotional processing, and cleansing. Fear, emotional processing, and cleansing. And kidney issues may reflect deep-seated fears, unresolved emotions, or difficulty processing life's challenges. Difficulty processing life's challenges. And with that, the message is, what fears are you holding on to? Are you struggling to let go of emotional toxicity? Are you afraid of letting go of emotional toxicity? You know, because sometimes when we try to emotionally let go of things, all of a sudden thoughts come into the head and say, hey, I'm here because, you know, back in the day, I saved you from that thing. These voices come into the head and they stop you from doing things, if you believe them. And they might have been useful in the past. That's the kicker. They've got some cash in the bank with you. And they may have been useful in the past, so you keep them around because they were useful. And maybe they'll be useful again. So you're pack ratting all your emotions. Oh, they haven't been useful for 40 years, but you know they were useful for that one day 40 years ago. I might need it again. Meanwhile, it's keeping you right where you are, and no progress is being done because that one thing is a lead weight and it survives on your energy. So you don't allow it to talk itself into staying. Right? You allow it to flow out. And fear is held in the kidneys. And the reason why I spend a little time in the kidneys, stress and fear. And what are the number one or two things, emotional state of people's experiences normally on a basis? How many people go through a lot of stress and fear? There's no judgment, because then that tells me, hey, spend a little bit more on this. Just signed up to the newsletter. I'm excited and open for this growth. Thank you. Fantastic, S-Forge, fantastic. You've done a really good thing. A really, really good thing. I keep hearing unconventional is where your power lies. Yeah, it is. It lies everywhere. But unconventional means the things that and the ways and means that you normally operate. See, so you already have perfected all of that. The unconventional or the unknown is where the stuff that you have that you're quite probably not aware about or not used to, but that'll be significantly powerful for you. That place is where those things are. So absolutely. Thank you, Stolly. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Right? So yeah, there is a lot of truth in that. The rising. My friend told me about him going into a coma yesterday. All right. So, kidney issues may reflect deep-seated fears, unresolved emotions, or difficulty processing life's challenges. Right? How many people go through a lot of stress in their life? Fear is a killer. Yes, it is. Fear is a killer. Yes. And fear is, the way we talk about it is it's irrational, meaning it has no relevance or reason to be where it is as far as precedence is concerned. None whatsoever. Thank you so much. I've never seen that. That's the angelfish. Very, very strong symbol. Very, very strong symbol. Thank you, Stellan. Muniani, 52. Fear is important. And the word is misused 99.99999% of the time. I'll even misuse it purposely so that I can communicate to be understood. But I'm going to tell you, what most people are going through is not fear. Here's what fear is. You're walking down the sidewalk, and you get to the edge of the sidewalk, and you got to cross the street. There's an 18-wheeler truck coming. You're either going to run across that street real quick or you're going to stop. You know what's going to cause you to do that? Fear. Once that 18-wheeler's gone and the danger is gone, you go back to feeling normal. That's fear. Fear is temporary and is based on a particular situation at the time. And when that situation is over, fear leaves with it. You see how helpful fear is? What we have going on is being afraid. Being afraid and being fearful are not the same. What people are they are always in a state of being afraid of everything, scared. That is the thing that we have going on, but it's a word that people don't like to hear. We need to get rid of being afraid of everything. Being afraid because we're told we need to be afraid. And we don't have to go through all the means that tell us that we should be afraid. This app has a lot of people coming on it telling you how much afraid you should be. Our media, all of that, how afraid we do. Our books, particularly the ones that we call the holy ones, they're very good at telling you how afraid you need to be of something or someone, or the end times, or of hell, or of anything. Afraid, 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 afraid. That's the problem. So the kidneys hold this. And they also hold stress. That's on the negative spectrum. On the positive spectrum, when you do the work or the proper techniques, you can introduce calmness, gentleness, and peace. The kidneys hold that as well. It depends on us as to what we want to keep in there. So you notice how calmness, gentleness, and peace isn't trumpeted all over the place. But stress and fear? Ooh, you don't have to look far. Just stretch your hand out and you'll touch it. Just stretch your hand out and you can touch it. Anxiety and being afraid are not the same mental states. They're not even emotions, they're mental states. Meaning, if you never experienced anxiety in your life and you have never been afraid of anything in your life, you live a perfectly well life. You'll live the perfect life. You never have to be afraid, and you never have to have anxiety. They're not necessary. They aren't. Anxiety is a feeling of dread, however slight. Anxiety is associated with living inside of the flight or fight response. How many of us have ever had a tiger chase us down? How many of us can walk out of our house and legitimately feel like our chances of coming back is 90% null and void? There's a 9 out of 10 chance we are going to be unalive or undone. How many of us actually have that situation going on? That would be the only time you would need to have anxiety. We don't have that going on. How many of us have the fear if we step down the steps and, through the hole there's a poisonous snake because it's, dark under there and we could get bitten? The world is the safest as it has ever been in its history. So why the anxiety? Why all the being afraid? What are we being afraid for? If you really just think about it with this kind of why? And I'm talking about us particularly as a nation here in the United States. We're some of the most afraid people on the planet. There's no country that's a threat to us. We're not like our ancestors where, some force that we've never seen could come down and wipe out the entire population, unalive everybody. That just simply isn't going to happen for 99% of the world. Why all of this being afraid? It's because it's generated. To keep the system that has a very few profiting and the most of the people not profiting, and keep it going. So the minute we stop feeding the system with our afraidness and our anxiety, it will simply crumble a lot faster. It's already crumbling, but it will go overnight. Overnight, everything will go. If we decide. The environment I was in, heavy violence on my road on a daily basis. I'm grateful to myself for removing myself from those spaces. Yeah. When if you're in a place like you've just described, yes. There's an actual thing present that has you feeling that way. Totally legit. Right? And when you had the ability to remove yourself, you did. Invincible is not a bad word. No, it isn't. So, our kidneys are, if anyone that has kidney issues should look energetically into that. Right? What fears are we holding on to? I say fears. I say, what are you afraid of? Because fear is not a bad thing. Fear is necessary. Being afraid is not. Being afraid of anything is not necessary. It's not an emotion. It's a mental state. There's a difference. To go through the difference, it's too much for a life. Too much for a life. But it's not necessary because it's not an emotion. It's not an emotion. Being afraid is not an emotion. It's a reaction and it's a mental state, meaning it exists in the mind. So the answer is, okay, what am I really afraid of? Why am I afraid of it? And if you're not sure how to deal with it, you ask your spirit team, your ancestors, and don't try to figure it out because you don't have to. And they'll bring the answers. They've already started this live if you're here. Don't get it twisted. You're here because they sent you here. Because I'm like this with them. There's an affirmation that goes with it, but don't take it on board if it's not true to you. And the affirmation is this: I release all fear and trust in the flow of life. I'm safe and supported. That is true. But if you say it and you don't feel that it's true, then your subconscious mind, which is what affirmations are meant to affect, will just dismiss it and toss it to the side. Number 5, the lungs. Freedom and grief. Freedom and grief is what the lungs represent, right? Lungs represent freedom, breath, and the ability to take in life. The ability to take in life. They're linked to grief and letting go. That's right. The lungs are linked to grief and letting go. Lung issues may indicate suppressed grief, fear of living fully, or difficulty releasing the past. And the message is, are you holding on to grief or sadness? Are you allowing yourself to breathe freely and live fully? The lungs hold grief, sadness, and depression. Grief, sadness, and depression. Right? So when we're depressed and all of that, one of the treatments should be is focusing on the lungs and connecting to the consciousness of the lungs so that you can purge it out and also get to the root of the problem that's causing the grief, sadness, or depression. On the positive side, I'm not recalling the two things that but if it, oh yeah, just recalled it. Thank you, folks. On the positive side, the lungs hold courage and righteousness. Courage and righteousness. So you see, I give you those two things: negative side, sadness, grief, depression; positive side, righteousness and courage, so that you know that means that righteousness and courage cannot exist in the same place at the same time. Oh wait, scratch that. Righteousness and courage are the things that exist in the lungs, but when they're in the lungs, grief, sadness, and depression cannot be in there at the same time. It's either one group or the other. Right? So that's where you focus. And there's an exercise called the inner smile. And that is in a practice that works on all these different emotional states to purge them out of the body and to bring in their counterparts on the other side of the polar spectrum. Right? On one side of the polar spectrum with the lungs is, of course, sadness, grief, and depression. And the other side of the spectrum is courage and righteousness. So if we do those exercises, we purge out, we purge out, we purge out. And when we purge them out, if we're sitting in courage and righteousness, then it's easy to see the cause as to why you had to purge those things out. And in courage and righteousness, you address the actual reason for it happening. Because when you purge out those emotions, it doesn't purge out the reason why they showed up in the first place. But it's much easier if you are in courage and righteousness to see the cause and then to heal the cause. All right. So I've got two more. I'm going to go with, should I go 2 more? I'm going to go 2 more. I'm going to do 3 more and then we'll wrap it up after 3. It feels stress is linked to not feeling fully safe. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And just look out, and look at how much the reality we're in pumps out not feeling fully safe. It does that to generate a fear. And that fear comes from making you feel a certain way so that you invite and entertain it. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I think that was you, Divine, that did that. Thank you so much. I haven't seen many of those in a while. Thank you so much. Right? As to Forge, I really detest one word answers because many people might not know what Moulin is. Right? I'm glad you brought it up. But how many people here know what Moulin is? Thank you for the suggestion. I'm going to talk about it for a second. Even though I don't like one word comments, but that's fine because this one word comment is actually pretty good. How many of you have ever heard of Moulin? Which chakra are the lungs associated with? Kathy, I don't do chakras, so I don't know, honestly. Oh, okay, good. Oh, my pendant? This is a lapis lazuli. Whoever it is asked. Lapis lazuli. So anybody familiar with Moulin? Okay, Moulin is a very, very, very powerful herb. It's a great little herb, and it is your lungs' best friend. Um, it's a herb that you can use to take as a tea, and it cleanses the lungs, right? And it's something we should all take because the air that we're breathing and the things we're breathing in, we can help those little baby lungs out. I always call my organ little baby whatever. I'll go, oh, little baby lungs, oh, little baby liver, da 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 da. Because when I use that term baby, because I love babies, it brings a certain emotion out of me into whatever it is I'm talking about. And this herb is an ultra cleanser. If you smoke, it's great to drink Moulin because it'll clear any of the things from smoke out of the lungs. It clears mucus out. It's one of the things that helps to clear mucus out of the body. Because if you're aware of Dr. Sebi, the great Dr. Sebi that died a few years ago, he would always say, the body's enemy is mucus. Get the mucus out of the body. And I agree with him. Get the mucus out of the body and get your stomach healthy, and everything will fall into place. And then make sure the spine's healthy so that every organ can be fed properly. You're good to go. Yeah. Sebi, S-A-B-E. And he would go to conferences. He would come to LA and he would be in Philadelphia, in the big cities. And I said I'd go see him one day, and I missed him. He died because he was working and healthy. And then suddenly something happened. There are suspicions going on about that, but suddenly something happened. He would hold conferences, and in his 70s, Dr. Sebi would say, you want to know how strong this, because he would do different formulas for the body, made all natural. You want to know how strong this will make your bones? And Sebi was like 6'3" or a tall guy. He would drop on the stage to his knees, full drop. Like in a second, he'd go, this is how strong, poof, and he'd land on his knees in his 70s. I couldn't do that. And stand back up without using anything to bring him back up in his 70s. Moulin, M-U-L-L-E-N. The alchemy explained in real time was beautiful. Thank you, Esther Forge. Do you know about the power of the color blue? Yeah, I'm well aware of Manifest 222. But if you want to expand on it, do so. We'll pin the comment. Yeah, the spelling does help. All right, so that's it for the lungs. No, I didn't finish up. The message is, are you holding on to grief or sadness? Are you allowing yourself to breathe freely and live fully? Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Are you allowing yourself to breathe fully? I release all grief and embrace the freedom to live and breathe fully. Thank you, McCare. Good to see you again. Thank all of you for your gifts and appreciation. Thank you so much. And then shoulders, number 6, shoulders. Right? The symbolism of the shoulders, sending the energy back in within minutes. Thank you. All right, fantastic. Symbolism, the shoulders represent burden and responsibility. Burden and responsibility. Shoulders symbolize responsibility, burdens, and the weight of the world. The weight of the world. Yeah, many of us know about that. I know all about that. Shoulder pain often reflects carrying too much emotional or physical weight, feeling overburdened, or taking on others' responsibilities. Taking on others' responsibilities. That is one of the things particularly that I see, particularly with a particular group of people who are very near and dear to my heart, and they're the empaths. Don't take on other people's responsibilities. We are more than, it's great to help, but sometimes when you help people, they tend to, how much more can I give? And suddenly, they're like this. And you're like this. Beware of them. Right? Beware of them. And the message is, are you carrying more than you can handle? Are you taking on burdens that aren't yours to bear? And the fact that you're doing that is also a post-it note that you made for yourself. And you say, when I do that, it's not going to feel good, even if it does at the beginning. And I'm going to feel the pressure of that. And then that post-it note says, what about me? That post-it note, when you read it, thank you so much, Divine Father. Thank you so much. When you read that post-it note, your experience is what is meant by reading. Yay! Thank you so much. Yay! Right? Your experience, thank you so much for that. I appreciate everything, including the likes and shares. You guys are on top of it tonight. Right? How many? I want to ask, because this is something that's big. So I want to find out how much time I should spend on this. How many of you have this issue where you take on more burdens than you should? You can just say me or whatever. How many of you? Rad Evolution, okay. Moso, Manifest 222, we're doing, okay. Anyone else? Boosie? Yeah, it's a few of you here. You had this, meaning you got rid of it. If you don't mind, could you share with us what you did? You could do it really briefly if you want. I used to be retired. So you're not retired now, Kathy? I used to, but retired. Oh, I misread that. Sorry. I used to, but retired. Fantastic. That's a good retirement. Because you see, when you resolve all of these issues, here's why I'm talking about them. Here's why Papa G is talking about them. Because when you resolve them, you have no idea what gets resolved in the spiritual realm as well. It's huge. It's huge. Everything you're going through has a mental, emotional, and spiritual ramification. And when you hear it, ooh, that's huge. You have no idea how huge that is. All right, so we'll spend some time on it. Thank you guys for your response. Delia, Amaya, thank you so much. Of course, the shoulders symbolize responsibility, burdens, and weight of the world, right? Shoulder pain often reflects carrying too much emotional or physical weight, feeling overburdened, or taking on others' responsibilities. I read that again because it's important. Are you carrying more than you can handle? Are you taking on burdens that aren't yours to bear? Because when we take on burdens that aren't ours to bear, guess what happens? The things that we're here to do and experience get put in the background. And those things that we're carrying that are not ours to bear don't do anything for our consciousness, don't do anything for our evolution, and don't do anything to make this life worth living. They actually make it miserable. And there's no progress in that, because what is happening is you've introduced suffering into the equation of your life. And suffering is a choice. Pain, life gives out pain. We can't do anything about that. Suffering, for the most part, is a choice. And I'm not talking about, because whenever I say this, there's always a couple of people who think, well, what about that starving baby that was born in said country that the mother can't feed it? You tell me that? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about most of us who have choices but still choose suffering. Energy exchange is a real thing. So learn how to reclaim and change your energy in real time, like Papa G with the baby example. Okay, yeah. Thank you, S4. Thank you so much for that. Right? Because energy exchange is important. Because sooner or later, like in a system, right? Because what's happening is there isn't an energy exchange when you're bearing somebody else's burden. Right? And guess what happens in anything, whether it's a system, whether it's a person, if the one that is giving is always giving and never getting anything in exchange, the one that is giving is going to run out of things to give, and the whole thing is going to fall apart. Eventually, you're going to wear down from carrying other people's burdens. And you know what? The burdens of the other people that you carry, they ain't going to be there for you. Because that is a parasite. They will move on to the next person they can find who they can get to do that for them again and leave you right down there. So in doing that, we then become what is called enablers. And you don't want to be an enabler of bad behavior. Right? You don't want to be an enabler of bad behavior. Maybe the person might need you, maybe you might need to take an extra just for a small amount of time because something happened. You can help them that way. But then as soon as they're ready, they go, oh, thank you so much. I'll take that. And please, anything you need, here's all what I can give you. They're always trying to look to have an exchange with you. And if they can't, they're very, very grateful. And guess what you have? Someone, if something happens, they're there for you in the drop of a hat because they are grateful and they are appreciative of you because of who you are based on what you did for them. and they will do anything for you. That's the kind of person. Because if you do take a little bit of extra weight for them, it ain't going to be long before they are back on their feet, ready to take that back, and they're always going to be there for you. Those people are the salts of the earth. Right? They represent the kind of people to associate with. If you're learn alchemy and transmutation, yes, and transmutation of the self, and this is what we do in myspiritualtribe.com, myspiritualtribe.com. So before I get to the next one, which is your hair, I know a lot of you are waiting for that, right? I know a lot of you are waiting for that, the hair. We have an event this month called Connecting to Your Higher Self. This is the most important connection there is. And without it, we don't go very far. Without that connection, we don't go very far, because the purpose of us being spiritually awakened is to take this limited side of ourselves, which is extremely important. The limitations within the body and the self it plays a fantastic role, because that's the only place that you can expand your without limitation. That's the most expansion you can get spiritually. But that can only happen when you are in great relationship, at peace with your higher self, the unlimited part of who you are. The unlimited part of you gets connected to the limited part of you. That's when the business gets started. That's when the magic starts. Right? And that is in this reality takes some effort. Right? Because of so many things that we have around us, mainly not around us, inside of us, mainly the belief systems we carry about ourselves. And those belief systems must be broken down. And at that event that we have, that anybody can attend, link is in the bio, anybody can attend that. We really get into starting that so that you can continue the steps in building that relationship with your higher self, because that's what it's going to take for you to be the greatest you that could ever have been. All right? So you can sign up for that if you're interested, or register for it just by going to the link in the bio, go straight through, and takes about 20 seconds to do so. Hey, Meredith. It's emotionally taxing, yeah, carrying other people's stuff. Energy exchange is a real thing, so learn how to reclaim and change your energy in real time. Like, I read that already, but I want to read it again because it was good. People come around and get their needs and wants met. Yeah, don't be the doormat that does it for them. Hello. I almost died yesterday. I'm grateful that you're alive today, though. As within, so without. As below, so above. Exactly. That's actually the law of correspondence. That's actually the law of correspondence. The law of vibration says everything is in motion. Nothing sits still. If you find yourself leaving the exchange depleted, take it as a sign to observe yourself and them. Absolutely on point. Oh no, it's on the 23rd, Esther Ford. It's on the 23rd. You don't have to apologize. Yeah, thank you, JC, for putting that out. Be the greatest you, absolutely. All right. So, hair. The hair. Hair represents strength and identity. This is the last one. Strength and identity. Hair represents strength, vitality, and identity. Strength, vitality, and identity. It is often seen as an extension of your energy and self-expression. Your energy and self-expression. Metaphysical meaning. Hair issues, thinning, loss of hair, may indicate a loss of strength, identity crisis, or feeling powerless. Powerless. Are you feeling disconnected from your true self? Are you struggling with self-esteem or personal power? That's the message. Again, as I said, if it doesn't resonate or is not something that is for you, then leave it. Because not everything that is true to you. Right? But to be clear and have a catch-all, just go to yourself. Hey, let me know. I don't feel this at all. But if it's so subtle that it's hard for me to feel it or resonate with it, please let me know so I can address it. And your spirit team, your ancestors, your subconscious mind will definitely take that at note and will bring it to you. If you mean it, because you must mean it when you say it. Because if you don't mean it and you say it, your subconscious mind does not listen to words. And your ancestors pay attention to how you feel about what you say. They're not going to run around just because of the words coming out of your mouth. They're going to base it on whether you really mean it. And that is indicated by the emotional signature that goes along with the words that you say. So you really want to mean it. And then you'll get the truth. And then once you say it, you mean it, forget about it. Don't think about it anymore. It'll come to you. I had detachment from the hair and shaved it 3 times. Yeah. And then that's valid. There are times that you want to do that with your hair. There's some people that do that. There's all kinds of things associated with hair, including the cutting of it. But the hair is an important thing because it also carries energy. It's also an antenna. Right? It's an antenna. Especially hair that stands up facing the sun. Right? And so the hair is important. And it's also one of the reasons why many people, like in the esoteric world, have hair and have beards. Because on a spiritual level, the hair is important. And the hair also holds energy. There are some people that are at a certain level of their spiritual evolution, that if they have completed their spiritual path, then the spirit will want to leave. This is not the person, this is the spirit will leave the body. So they'll get a beard, and it will help to hold the spirit in the body. The hair is very, very important. And throughout history, when people used to not cut their hair, hair cutting was started, and you cut your hair for whatever personal reason. This is not, I never talk about general statements, because some of you may cut your hair for a reason that's true and personal to you, and that's all right, because you're living your life and you're having your experiences. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But the cutting of hair became a thing when nations used to conquer other nations. And the one that was conquered would have to cut their hair. And it was an indicator of the one who was conquered. The one who had their hairs cut were the one who were conquered. That's how the cutting of hair started. That's how the cutting of hair started. Way back when. Way back when. Because hair holds such great symbology. Such great symbology. That it's amazing. And hair was also associated very, very closely with connectedness. Connectedness. All right, guys. I'll do a bonus one. I'll do a bonus if I get 15 people that want a bonus. Otherwise, we'll end it. So if you want a bonus, just say yes. And once we get to 15 yeses, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, you guys, we get the bonus. Guys, this was a good one because it's the blood. That's right. How many people hear about the blood, this, and all kinds of writings and things? Blood represents, you guys, life force and vitality. Yes, the collective is open to receiving. Okay. All right. All right. I'm rising. Okay, fantastic. Blood represents life force and vitality. Blood represents life force, energy, vitality, and the flow of emotions. Blood-related issues, anemia, circulation problems. Oh, let me plug this thing in. May reflect a lack of joy, vitality, or emotional stagnation. Just way more to this than this here when it comes to blood. I might give a bonus on this one, on top of a bonus as far as the information. Are you feeling drained or disconnected from your passions? Are you allowing your emotions to flow freely? Right? The blood also represents your ancestry. The blood also represents and has within it the formula for how you should live your life if you want to live it healthily. That's what the blood represents. And even more than that. And even more than that. Because there's a reason historically why so many people, why the term blood sacrifices is so huge. There are beings with no bodies who rely on that for their survival. All right, it's for blood cleansing juice. That's right. And so the blood is essential because within it is all the information. And the blood connects all the way up through the soul and everything. That's why we use the word bloodline, which is equivalent to ancestry. Which is equivalent to ancestry. The reason for you being able to exist in the physical realm to begin with, and then it has its spiritual existence outside of the physical. All right. Blood stores DNA, which also stores information. It's so important that they have finagled a way to get you to give them their blood, your blood. You think that the agenda was for them to tell you what your ancestry is. They don't even know that. It's not even accurate. They're doing other things with it. That's how powerful it is. That's how powerful it is. So guard your blood, cleanse your blood, take your blood cleansing formulas as such, because it's important. Before I go, one last thing. Tomorrow's live will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In the community, not here. In the community. We're holding our live in the community at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. And in the community. So if you're a member of the community, get the app. Our community is built on an award-winning platform that comes with an app. And there you get all the notifications you need of when we're doing something. And reminders of, times and things of that nature. And so it happens in the app because it's an app-driven community, just like TikTok. Just like TikTok. So it's a smooth transition. A smooth transition. And look on your phone. And if you have too many apps, you can't add another one. If you're part of the community, add ours. Because you probably got 4 or 5 of them that are useless. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. You're not doing you any good. And put the Mighty app. It's called the Mighty app. That's where our community is. The Mighty app. So if you're a part of it, download the app so you can know what's going on. It's essential. All right. Thank you so much for being here. As Esther says, Babaji, thank you for creating this beautiful space. I'm going to alchemize my energy. Phenomenal. Thank you for the hat. Thank you so much. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm going to call it a night. It was a great time being here, and we will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in my spiritual tribe, myspiritualtribe.com. All right, you guys. Have a great night.